Okay, so hi everyone. Hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this session. Very warm greetings from Mercy Technologies. So we have seen a new data structure yesterday that is called as. Can you name? I think people should have seen my recording. So what did we see yesterday? Yes, our topic for yesterday was hashing data structure. So what we concluded yesterday with hashing data structure is like the best possible what do you call searching capability that we got was order of login till the data structures that we learned till now. But with hashing, we were able to do that in order of one, right? Even though in the worst case it seemed to be order of n, so we concluded that it is order of one by taking various examples yesterday. So today we'll be seeing about two more data structures, like why these came into picture or in what scenarios these are useful, etc., etc. We'll be looking into those things. So let's straight away go. As our title says, we'll be seeing into tries and heap data structure. Okay, so tries and heap, these are the two data structures that we are going to see today, and this is our simple agenda for today. And let's move forward. So straight away, let me tell you what is a try. What is a try data structure? Okay, so what is a try data structure is something like this. Yeah, try data structure is something like this. Let me open up what do you call, for example, let's say I want to do something like this. Maybe I'll say new incognito window. Okay, so that I just wanted to what do you call, just wanted to hide all my search history, etc., etc. So what I wanted to do over here is, for example, let's say I can say data structures and algorithms, or something like this, right? What it say, hacker. If you see here, there are, as I type, okay, as I type in my Google or whatever search engine that you say, as I type, what is happening is it is giving me some search results. These are my history, guys, but that's fine. Or maybe I will try to search something which is not searched before. How to make the best, how to, or for example, let's say how to learn. So something like this, what do you call, how to implement a binary heap tree, or whatever. So these are some things that I never did. Maybe let's say in the recent time, it was not there in my history. So here, what I want to say is, when I type something, it is giving me, Google is giving me some auto-filling words, or I can say sentences, right? Or I can say sentences. So which means Google should already be having some of those or few of those which are already predefined to it, and that it is giving me based on its or like as an autocomplete ones. So similarly, for example, let's say I wanted to say something like this. uh, I'm opening up my whiteboard. Okay, so we are seeing about a try data structure. Try data is something like this. For example, let's say I wanted to search something like this. What I wanted to say is, right, let's say I'm trying to search for apple. Okay, I say A, P, P. And finally, there is two more, which is LE. Okay. So these two words are something that should come as an auto suggest, right? Whenever you try to do the same thing, you will be getting that in Google. Okay. You'll be getting that in Google, or any, what do you call, any search engine, for the sake. Okay. So how do we do it? For example, let's say we have a dictionary with us. Okay, for example, let's say we have a few predefined words. So these predefined words, for example, let's say I have predefined word. What I can say is, uh, what I wanted to say is my predefined words. So for example, I have only three words in my dictionary. For example, let's say I'll say apple, apple, and hello. Okay, and then hi. Okay, so let's say these are the three words that I have in my dictionary and nothing else. Okay, nothing else. So when I search H, my predefined words should, or maybe I should get the autocomplete as HELLO and HI. Okay. So what I want to say over here is whenever you try to search something, and there should be some autocomplete, right? Some autocomplete. And you already have a few predefined words in your dictionary or maybe in your database or something. So let's say you need to get this kind of a this kind of a what do you call searching capability, and you have to do it yourself. Let's try to see how we can do it using our brute force technique. And let's say I have a list. Okay, let's say I have a list, and in my list I have all this apple. Okay, so I have a apple, I have hello. Okay, and let's say hi. Okay, so let's say I have all this in a list. Okay, in a list. And now let's say I have a method. I need to implement a method. For example, let's say get suggestions. Get uh, suggestions. And I will pass some word. For example, let's say here I will say uh, he. Okay, so when I pass something, so my method, what it should do is it should iterate over my dictionary. It should iterate over my dictionary and try to see if there are any words of this sort or not, right? How we can do is, like, maybe we can say uh for 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 zero until what point I can iterate word dot length. Okay, so here I can iterate over all my length, and then I can iterate one by one. I can get all my words one by one, and I can check if this he is present or not. He is present or not, right? He is present or not. So first what I'll do, I'll be iterating over h, and then I'll check if it is there in apple or not. No, it is not there. Then I'll be going to my next, then I'll be going to my next, etc, etc, etc. So this is just a pseudo code, guys. What I understand over here is, for example, let's say my length of my word is m. Okay, and then my time complexity in this kind of a scenario is, in my outer loop, let's say it is m, so it will be order of m into n. And my n would be the what do you call, the maximum number of alphabets or something like that. So what I wanted to tell over here is, whenever you try to do something like this in a brute force way, you end up in unnecessary calculation. You will be having one more for loop. Okay, so you will be ending up in one more for loop, and here you will be what do you call, trying to mix and match and all, etc, etc. So this is something which comes into a brute force way of way of implementing a thing. But here there comes a data structure which is called as a trie. Okay, which is called as a trie. So trie is a data structure. TRIE is a data structure. And here, just like yesterday, what we are trying to do as part of this trie is, we are trying to maximize or maybe minimize the searching time. So here we are trying to minimize the searching time. That's fine, but we are trying to minimize the searching time of not a particular element, but we are trying to minimize the searching time of the suggestions or the list of words that are already defined in a dictionary. Okay, that are already, I do not say dictionary, or maybe you have a structure which already has all these words. So what you have to do is, you have to like search or get the best possible outcomes of that. Okay, so this is what a trie does for you. Okay, so instead, in a brute force, how you were storing is you were storing everything into a list. I mean, this is what comes into your mind. But in a try, we will be doing that in a better possible way. Okay, in a better possible way. So what we can do as part of this try is something like this, right? So I have try is also nothing but it is, I can say try is also a tree, guys. Okay, a tree. Okay, so but what kind of a tree this is? This is not a binary tree. This is not a binary tree. Okay, this is not a binary tree. So let's say how it goes is, for example, this is root. A root is always null, null always. Okay, null always. And to that we can try to construct a tree something like this. Like what I can say is, for example, let's say I want to construct something like my input. I want to do something like this, like uh, mercy. So let's say this is the only word that is there in my tree data structure. I mean try uh, data structure. So how I can do over here is root is always null. So I can have M, right, E, R, C, C, and then Y. Okay, and then Y. Here what I want to say is, instead of storing that as part of a list, I am storing that as a tree, and tree has a node, and that node has the value. For example, let's say I'm storing that mercy, and mercy will be coming down until here as at this particular point, which is mercy, right? This is how it is. And for example, we have already seen one more thing, which is apple. Okay, in the previous example we'll go. So what was our predefined words? Our predefined words were apple, apple, hello, and hi. Okay, so let's say we need to implement a try for this. Okay, so how do we do that is, right, as I told, a root is always null. This is root. Okay, it is always null. So here I have a, p, p, l, e. So this is how it is. And now I want to have one more word. This is my first word. This is done. And my second word is h, e, l, l, o. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so here we are done, and now we need to have one more thing, which is high. Okay, so I have a root, I have h already there, so here I need to have one more word, which is high. That's it. So what I want to say over here is, so instead of storing that as that as tree, I mean that as a list, we will be storing that in this particular format. In this particular format, the reason why we store all this in this particular format is, like, for example, let's say I have searched for app. Okay, app. Okay, app, and then le would be like this. App will be you have entered that, and le will be suggested to you, or maybe it will come as a suggestion for you in your Google search. Because after all this, what are all this under this would be given as a suggestion. For example, I have one more thing, which is, let's say I will have something like application, appl. I can have something like this, I C A T uh, ION, right? IONN. So what I want to say is, how big your word is, that is not a big deal. That is not a big deal. You have done something here. You have written something here until here, APP. And under that, whatever is there under this will be coming to you as a suggestion, right? APP. LE would be coming, LICATION will be coming. Okay, and now here there can be a plural, to this, right? For example, let's say apples. Okay, apples. So apple is a word, s is a word, apples is one more thing. Okay, apples is one more thing, and there can be one more word which is app. App is something like a monkey, I think. Okay, that also is one more word. So similarly, there is this hello, right? Hello is one word, but here when you say there will be one more word which need to come. That is hello. Hell. Hell is also I mean, another word. Another word. When you type H, so hello, hell, and hi. These should be your autocomplete words. Or when you say HELL, or maybe say HEL, HELL and HELLO should be your autocomplete words. So what I want to say over here is, like, when you have a tree, something which is something like this is so big tree. I'm telling you very small examples, guys, but this is how, what you call, the searching or the words will be, ordered internally to your search engines or something, so that the searching capability or the searching becomes very fast. Okay, so now this is what a trie data structure will be looking like. Okay, it will have a root which is empty or which is null. All I mean to say empty. I cannot say null always. I can say an empty always, right? Empty always. And to this it will be having child, etc., and we will be filling all our words which are required uh, into what do you call, all the words are which are required into this one. So here one more thing that I want to say, one more thing that I want to say over here is, it's not just a single word. In my try in the sequence, there can be multiple words also, and we need to represent that also until here. So this is a theory behind try data structure, guys. So just wanted to ask, are you with me till now? Yeah, yeah, Tanmay, ask. See, if it's about the representation, if it's about anything else, then I think maybe eventually, if you do not get an answer at the end of the class, yeah, I mean, that's what hashing is all about, and that's it. Maybe we'll be dealing about one or two sample interview problems, but that is what hashing is all about. That's it. We are done with hashing. Nothing more to learn in it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. Fine. This is what a trie data structure is for you guys. Okay. So now let's try to see how do we represent. So if you remember, so what we initially told is, like, as part of our represent. If you see our previous notes, I said the tree can be represented. Tree can be represented. A tree, for example, let's say binary tree. Okay. Uh, BT node. So how do we represent BT node? So we said int data. Okay. So initially how we generally represent is BT node left. So this gives our left child, and BT node right. So something like this was our BT nodes representation. Okay, this is what we have been following previously. But before this, what I told is, like, we can even represent this as an array of size 2, because it is a binary tree and it has only two nodes. Okay, left and right. Okay, so previously how we represented this one was something like this: BT node. Okay, int data. So binary tree node int data, something like this. You can even move forward, something like this. But what we did is, BT node, an array of BT node is equal to new BT node of 2. So something like this. Instead of having a single node left and right, I told you before that we can represent that as an array of nodes also, So why did we break that and named it as left and right child? Because we thought that there are only two childs, so that's why we can have only two. But here in, like, let's say we take an example of a trie and we are trying to represent that trie. Okay, so if we see our previous examples, so every node, for example, after root, after after root, there can be nodes from A, and then B, and then C, and then until Z. Okay, so this is how it can be, right? So after this also A can have the child. Here in this case we have a child of P, so instead A can have a child of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H until Z. So every child eventually can have a child until Z, A to Z, A to Z, A to Z, A to Z. So I'm considering A and capital A, small a, both are same. Okay, both are same. So in that way, every node can have a child of maximum size 26. Okay, maximum size 26. Here, instead of having this 2, we can have 26 as our size. The reason for having 26 is, here we concluded in a binary tree we can have only 2 children, but here in a trie data structure it can be the size of 26 considering both capital and small cases. So that's why how do we represent that is something which is I mean a need for us. Okay, so here let's say how do we represent a trie. Okay, I can say class trie. Okay, so here what I say is, here instead of making that as a string, I'd like to take this as char ch. Okay, this is a character, that I'm going to take. This is a character that I'm going to take. And if you observe, for every here HELL is a word, HELLO is a word, right? HELL is a word and HELLO is a word. So for every node that we have, we can have something like is leaf. Okay, which means is this the end of the word? Something like this. I can have Boolean is leaf. Okay, Boolean is leaf. Okay, Boolean is leaf. So what is this is leaf saying? It is saying, when I come to HELL, am I done with a particular word or not? Okay, it actually represents if I'm done with a particular word or not. And after that, we can have an array. We can have an array of trie. Okay, array of trie, because for every trie, for every node, it can have an array which points to the next what do you call, A to Z, A to Z, A to Z. So that's how we can have an array of a trie. But here, while representing, what I want to say is, to this particular node called A, it can have A to Z, right? And this particular node called B, it can have A to Z. To H, it can have A to Z, right? So which means it will be something like this, some mapping, something like this, right? For a particular character, my key, and then a value. Okay, what would be my key? Key will be something like A or B or C or something like this, and value can be again a trie. So which means, I'm not sure if your guys are done with map data, I mean map collection in Java, guys. But if map collection is not done, please do not get confused with the syntax or something. But map is a collection that stores the data in key and value pair, in a key and value pair. So here, what I want to say is, I want to store something which is having a key of A, and the value is nothing but it's one more trie, right? Which means A is something like, A is a key for me, and then what is its value, what is its next child, is something which is one more trie. Okay, so I can have some a map of what, of key is nothing but, let's say, character and then trie. Okay, so which means map should have a particular character as a key, and trie is nothing but which is like its child, or maybe its mapping kind of. So this is how we can represent a trie data structure. Do not get confused, or do not see that it is something which is complex, guys. We can straight away see how we can represent a trie. Okay, so here what I did is, I have taken a trie node, right? This is a trie, and I've taken a trie node which is root. okay, which is root. And then I just have some simple constructor. This is not our okay, try node, right? Okay, so here I have a try node. I'm making that as try node. Okay, we have a character called C, and then I said we'll be having a map. You'll be getting a doubt, why did I write this hash map and all? If you want to go into the details, then I think you will be getting those details after you complete your map collection. But here what I want to say is we are representing that as a map. So what is that map? Map is nothing but a key and a value pair. What is my key? Key is a character and my value is nothing but a try node. And then one more thing that I have is something like isLeaf, the same thing that I discussed over here. Okay, it is nothing but isLeaf that I discussed over here. So this is how we represent this case. This is how we represent a try data structure. Okay, so here all these are nothing but a constructor, and then this is like getters and setters value. If you remember in my first class that I said right click and then you go to source, right? Then you go to source and you say generate getters and setters. When you do that, you'll be getting all these getters and setters, and like there's nothing to learn over here. Only these three are the lines. So in this way, what I wanted to say is a try node has the following representation, and it has these three elements in it. Okay, these three elements in it. It has a map, it has a value that says is it leaf or not, and it has a character in it, right? So that's it. For example, let's say I want to show you how we represented a binary tree node, right? How we represented a binary tree node. So only thing is you have a data, you have a left, you have a right, that's it. All the other things that we have written are for our convenience, if you remember. Similarly, we have written a try data structure which is having all these three elements in it, and all the others that we have done until or below this one are only for our convenience, and we can generate it using Eclipse. Okay, so this is how we represent a try data structure case. So if you see while learning the try data structure, we came to know about two important cases. What is that? First thing is we will be having a few words with us. Okay, we'll be having a few words with us. For example, let's say you're trying to you're trying to build similar to Google or maybe similar to Bing. These are big things, guys. What I wanted to say is like the basic concept on which they follow. Okay, so let's say you want to build something. First thing is you need to input the data, right? You have the data with you, apple, hello, and hi. This is the data that you have, and you need to input the data, right? So which means my try data structure should have at least the following below methods. First method is insert. Okay, insert, and what should be my uh, parameter? It should be try node root. Okay, so what I'll say, I do not want to return anything over here. So for that, I'll say void, and I need to represent this. I need to write some code in my insert method. What will my insert method do? Insert will do something like this. We try to insert, right? First, it will try to say that root has an empty value, and then mercy, and then apple, something like this. I mean, it will be creating uh, right, based on it will be creating based on all this. So how I can do is like, maybe I can do something like this. First I can take all my words. For example, in my case, it will be apple, hello, hi. I'll be iterating over apple, so I'll be having a, and then p, and then p, and then l, e, etc. And after I come to e, right, after I come to e, it's not s, after I come to e, so I came to know that I'm done with my word, right? I'm done with my input, right? So after that, so what I can say is, to this particular node called e, I can say is leaf, right? Is leaf is equal to true, which means at this particular point called e, I'm done with my word, right? I'm done with my word called apple. So something like this I need to do. And there should be one more method, which is, let's say, I'll say string search, right? Here I can say I will be passing something like this, string string, I'll be passing word. Okay. So when you search, when you try to search something, so you're passing what? You're passing a word. For example, let's say in my word here, it says, let's say AP. Okay, I'm passing only this thing. So here you'll be doing some code. Here you'll be writing some code, and you'll make sure that you are returning this apple, because that is the only word that is matching. In case it doesn't match, maybe you'll be returning it null, etc., etc. So these are the two important methods that you need to implement as well. So similarly, if you see a linked list, what we did, we tried to represent that, and after that we did this like traversal, deletion, insertion, etc., etc., right? So at least in my insert, and yes, when I say insert, you have one more thing, which is void delete as well. Okay, maybe you'll be passing all those and what to delete, etc., etc. Your delete method also needs to be represented as a delete. It should give you a delete functionality, right? Guys, like we have done our various data structures till now using these techniques only, right? Like what is required, what is the method name that's required, what might be the parameter that's required, and what is the string that is required. Like we have taken all this using these principles only. So after that, we try to implement that step by step, right? What is the base condition? Do we represent that, or how do we search it? Are we searching that using recursion, or are we searching that using iteration, or whatever? We did various things. So we'll be having base conditions, and after that we'll be having some what do you call, based on the requirement. After having the base condition, so we'll be doing recursion calls, or maybe we'll be doing iteration calls, and based on whatever our desire is, we'll try to format the output and finally give the result back. Similarly, we already have right, we already have our inputs taken, we already took small examples, right? And then we came to know that these are the methods that are required, right? So what I want to do over here is you already know all this. Maybe I have the code which is already written, which is there for try data structure, but you need to implement insert, right? You need to implement insert, and you need to implement search capabilities, right? This is a simple implementation, guys. This is a simple implementation. Maybe you need to give a little bit more work to your brain, but here what I want to say is, like, it is a homework. You can take that as a homework. You need to implement insert functionality and search functionality. I'll be waiting for tomorrow. Maybe, like, let's say you find it hard or you find it somewhat difficult, then maybe I'll be giving you this notes as part of notes. But take that as a homework and try to, like, try to give a little bit more work to your brain. Try to get all the concepts that we have done till now and try to implement this, right? I think maybe you'll be finding it a little bit difficult because of the introduction of this hash map here, but give it a try. It's worthy try. Okay. So in case you do not, I'll be giving you the notes the next day, which means tomorrow. Okay. So this is what a try is there for you guys. We have done, or we have done some introduction about a try. So just wanted to ask, are you with me till now? So this is what a try is for you guys. But I mean, what the reason for learning a try is, like, the try as a word itself is an interview question, right? Let's say an interview. Let's say interviewer asks you to search something, right? Searching is of various kinds, is what we came to know till now, right? Searching in a sorted array, searching in an unsorted array, searching in a tree, searching in a binary tree, searching in a binary search tree, searching in an array, searching in a linked list, searching in a stack, searching in a queue, etc., etc. I think we have done various kinds of combinations, permutations. We came to know what are the time and space complexities, etc., etc. The reason for doing all this is, right, let's say there is some kind of a input for you, given to you, something like this in the interview. If you just utter the name that we can do it using a try data structure, then you're halfway done, right? Even I don't think the interviewers will ask or expect you to write code for try as well. But like you should be knowing that there is a data structure which is named as try, and then that is used for this autocomplete words or autocomplete ones that we are doing till now, right? But it's a worthy try to have a good practice on implementing those two methods. Those two methods, as I told you, are something like this. So what are those? Insert and then search, right? Insert and then search. So maybe I'll be giving you what like I think you should be knowing that. One more thing is, guys, like important, very important thing is, like, you can take small examples, small base conditions, small things, and try to write. And maybe after you get the notes, you try to validate your inputs, or maybe try to search that in HackerRank and try to see that if you are able to do it in a proper way. And this is how you will learn or improve your learning in any subject. Okay, so we are done with the try data structure. Now let's move to other data structure, which is heap. Okay, so which is heap? Heap is also something which you are trying to see or trying to learn. Is heap is also something which makes your searching easy, but in a particular scenario, right? In a particular scenario. So what is that scenario, and in which cases this heaps make what do you call heaps give you a capability, etc., etc., that maybe we'll be looking into right now. Okay, there is an interview question which was asked to me myself. It was my particular experience, guys. Okay, so let's say the interview question was going something like this. Let me open a new slide. Okay, interview question was something like this. So first the interviewer asked, let's say there is an array. Okay, there is an array something like this. There is an array something and let's say it has 1 2 3 4 5, and you need to search for 5. Okay, you need to search for 5. So when you need to search for 5, since this is a what I can say, a sorted array, I can use a binary search and can do it in order of log n, right? I can do that in order of log n time. Okay, let's say this is not a what do you call sorted array. Oh, okay, so in that way what I can do is 1 5 3 4 and 2, something like this is given. So in this way I can go to every element and search it in order of n time. Okay, order of n time. Okay, order of n time. So order of n is okay. I mean, like, if you give a solution in order of n in an interview, that's fine. Yeah, like, order of log n is not possible always, and order of n is something which is good. But what happens when you need to search in a data which is billion, generally, when, like, as big as a billion times, right? Billion what do you call data that is there, and your arrays of size which is of billions, right? So in this way also there are two steps. You can sort that array. First thing is sort that array, and second thing is then search. So sort will give you order of n log n. So we'll be seeing by what is sorting, etc., etc. Maybe we'll be seeing in the next classes, but not now. But you can actually remember the best possible sorting that you can have is in order of n log n times. Okay, even in search you can have this in order of log n time. Okay, so here what I want to say is this is fine. Now uh, I want to get the maximum element, I want to get the minimum element, right? I want to get the maximum element, I want to get the minimum element in my huge data, which is I mean a billions of data that I have. I need to get the maximum or minimum out of it. So how do I do it, right? How do I do it? So before I go into searching capability of a billion data, so I'd be going, how do we actually store that data? Like, if we store that data in an array, right? And your intention is only to get either max or minimum, right? Your intention is just to either get the maximum number or minimum number out of it, right? In this cases there is a data structure which comes handy, which is called as heap. Okay, so I can say there is one thing called binary heap. Binary heap. Okay, so what is this binary heap, guys? Binary heap is nothing but like heap is also something which is a tree, right? It is a binary tree. When I say it's a binary tree, binary heap, it is a binary heap, binary tree actually, binary tree. Okay, so it is nothing but binary heap is nothing but a binary tree. So now binary tree, and one more thing that I wanted to say is it is a complete binary tree. So I think you remember the definition of a complete binary tree. Complete binary tree is nothing but it should start from 1 and let's say a 2, 3, and let's say 4 and 5 and then 6, right? This becomes a complete binary tree, right? This is not a full binary tree, but this is a complete binary tree because it starts from root and we are trying to insert every element from left to right, from left to right. Okay, from left to right. So this is a complete binary tree. Now let's say I do not have this. I do not have this, right? I do not have this 5 over here. So when I do not have this 5 over here, will this become a complete binary tree? This will violate the principle of complete binary tree. The reason why it violates the principle of complete binary tree is there is this gap of right child over here, but instead I have this which is left child of this 3, right? So which means it is violating my complete binary tree. So this will never become a heap, right? This is not a heap. Okay, this is not a heap, right? So every heap is nothing but it is a binary tree. Okay, and it is a complete binary tree. Okay, these are the two things that are very much important. And heaps are of two types. I told you the capability of thinking about a heap is when you want to search. When do you use this? When you want to search max or min element. When you want to search either the max or min element, you'll be having this thing. So which means you'll be having two heaps. First thing is min heap. Okay, and the second thing is max heap. Okay, min heap and max heap. For example, let's say I can have an example something like this. Okay, what is an example something like this? Or maybe I'll show you the diagram straight away, right? Right, I want to show you the diagram straight away. Okay, so what it says, min heap is nothing but the left one is a min heap. The min heap is nothing but it is having a root which is having 6 and 7 and then 12, 10, 15, 17, etc, etc. Here what I wanted to say in this example is there is a parent which is called as 6, and 6 should be the minimum among any other child that it has, and same thing applies for every node in the tree. For every node in the tree. So what I want to say is 6 is less than 7, 6 is less than 12, right? 6 and 6 indeed is less than this 10, 15, 17, etc, etc, which means the root should be less than its children. So it doesn't mean that left should be lesser than a root, and right should be greater than root. That is binary search tree. But in heap, that equation or maybe that condition is not there. The heap only deals with one thing, and that one thing is there is this root, and to my left child or to my right child, so this should be lesser, right? This should be lesser, and this applies for every node that is there in the tree. So this is a min heap, and then this is the max heap. What is max heap saying? Max heap is saying something like the root should be the maximum element, and all the others which are the children of this root should be minimum in comparison to the root, right? Minimum in comparison to the root. And one more condition is this should be a complete binary tree, which means let's say there is no 15 over here, it doesn't become a complete binary tree, so it will never become a heap. But if it needs to be a heap, there are two conditions it follow. Either it should be a min heap or a max heap. If it is min heap, then it should be root should be the minimum value. If it is a max heap, then a root should be the maximum value. right? So this is the theory, or this is what a heap is for you guys. So just wanted to ask, so let's try to see what this heap is, what this min heap is, max heap is, etc., etc. And let's try to see. Maybe I'll take a small example. I'll try to take a small example and make you understand it. Okay. So here I have something like this. Just give me a second, guys. So here I have something like this. So I will be having some data, guys. So I'll be having some data like 5, 10, 20, 40, etc., etc., etc. There is some data that is present for me. There is some data that is present for me, and I need to actually analyze that if it is like I need to store all this data into my heap. And why do I need to store all this into my heap is, I already told you the reason for storing all this into heap is, right, we need to get the minimum or maximum value, right? Minimum or maximum value. Here what I'm trying to do is, like, let's say I'm trying to construct a max heap. Okay, let's say I try to construct a max heap. Okay, I try to construct a max heap. So my numbers are something like this, right? 31, right? 10, 16, 9, 8, let's say 9, 8, or I can say 10, 12, 3, 1, 5, let's say 7, 19. A small example that I'm taking, guys. So we need to construct a max heap out of it. Okay, so it means, let's say what I'll try to do is, maybe I'll take 31 as my root, right? 31 as my root, and I need to take 10. Okay, this is my left child and this is my right child, right? This root is maximum when compared to my left and right, right? Root is maximum when I come to my left and right. So again, now maybe 16, so okay, 16 over here. And now I'll be doing this 9. Okay, 9, right? And then 8, right? 16 is my parent, and it is 16 is greater than 9 or 8, and that's fine. Right now there is this 10, right? Now there is this 12, and again it is following my heap condition. That's fine. Now it is 3, right? And then it is 15. Okay, so something like this, 15. Oh, did I miss 3 and 1? Where did I miss? Okay. So I think I missed these two. Until 12 we are done. Okay, until 12 we are done. Okay, so here there is this 3 and 1, and then 5, and then 5, and then 7, right? And then for now let's ignore this 19, guys. Okay, for now let's ignore this 19. So this is a max heap. This is a max heap. We have some data which is given to us like this, and we have constructed a max heap out of it. So what are the conditions? It is nothing but it is a binary tree. Okay, it is binary tree. And the second thing is it is a complete binary tree. Okay, complete binary tree. That's fine. And now next thing that we are trying to do is, next thing that we are trying to see over here is, since this is a max heap, so which means root is greater than left child, and then root is greater than right child. uh, Root should be greater than right, and root should be greater than left also, right? So here 31, right? 31, and 31 is greater than 10, and that's fine. And then 31 is greater than 16, that's fine. So actually what I wanted to say over here is, like, root should be the greatest element in comparison to its children. So all these conditions have been satisfied, and since it is the greatest one, so it is something like it becomes a max heap. Okay, it becomes a max heap. So these are the conditions. These are the conditions that are that are there. So now let's see what will happen. What would be the various operations and how much time it would take. For example, insert. Okay. So when you try to insert, when you try to insert a particular element, so like let's say I want to insert which is called as 12, right? When you try to insert 12, so actually what happens is like you will eventually be coming to various nodes and you need to insert it. But actually what happens is, since this is ordered, right, since this is ordered tree, the what do you call for example, let's say you come here and you come to know that 12 is greater, or what I want to say is similarly how we did with this binary search tree, the insertion, it was taking the way we construct that tree was taking order of log n time. The reason is this elements are in ordered way. The reason is these elements are in ordered way. Like for example, let's say you want to insert 16, right, 31, and you need not insert in your left, right, you need to insert in your right. Here what you're trying to do is you are ignoring the whole part of a tree over here, right, whole part of a tree over here. And similarly you need to do something like this. You are ignoring, for every step you are ignoring the equal half of a tree. So that gives you an order of log n time, right? And there is one more operation. The reason for having this tree is like operation something like this: get max, right? Get max. So what is my get max? It gives me 31, right? Get max of, let's say, root or something like this. So straight away I will pointing out to my root and I can directly return my root. The actual reason for going for this heap data structure is to get the max, and that too you get that in order of right. uh Maybe I messed up over here. Okay, get max. Okay, get max of something like this. You will pass root. Okay, so this can be done in order of one time, right? This is the best time complexity that can occur, right? Right now we will be going to one more which is a operation called decrease key, or maybe I can say delete, or maybe I can say whatever. So here let's say with this introduction of 19, now let's say 19 is there. Okay, 19 is there. So whenever 19 is there, you have to insert it towards left, right? 19. So whenever you need to try to insert 19, but what happens is this is actually violating my heap data structures principles. So what I say is, instead I will swap these two, right? I can say 10 I'll put here and 19 I'll put here, right? So even in this case also it is not possible. So what I'll say is I'll swap these two now. Okay, I'll put 19 over here and 16 over here, right? What am I trying to do is I'm increasing my key. This is an operation called increase key. It can have various names, but I mean, this is a famous name, increase key. So what happens is, like, you are increasing your key, its level up, right? So this is how you will do whenever there is some problem in your insertion. Whenever there is some problem in your insertion, you will modify your whole heap, right? This is nothing but heapify. Okay, so this is an important term, guys. Heapify, right? This is an important term. Whenever you find something wrong, what you will do is you will do this heapify function. You will call this heapify function. So what will heapify function take, guys? Heapify can be done in order of log n. The reason is, like, when you are done over here, you'll be moving this to your top, right? You are done, you are ignoring half of your tree over here, and then you'll be moving it to top. So which means you're not doing it in order of n times, but you're doing that in order of log n times, since you're using a binary tree, right? So why did we do, or how did we achieve all this, etc., etc.? Like, in case you're not getting it now, then maybe, like, you need to follow the previous classes as well. So we will do this heapify operation in order of log n times. Okay, so here what I want to say is there is one more thing is, let's say I want to delete an element, right? I want to delete this 31, or I want to get my get my max out of my tree, and I can use that delete operation. And let's say I deleted this one. So what happens is, again, in that case, what you need to do is you need to take the last element. Here in our case, it is 10, right? You need to take this last element, you need to make that as the root of the tree, right? Make root. You need to make this as a root, and then you need to follow this heapify function. Okay, what is this heapify function? So it means you need to make 10 as the root, and after that you need to adjust your total heap, right? You need to adjust your total heap. So eventually 10 may not be becoming the root, but some element in your tree will become the root, right? Some element in the tree will become the root. What I want to say is, here the actual reason this heapify etc will take order of log n time. Why do we go to this data structure etc? Many questions can come, but the reason or the thing that we are trying to solve as part of this data structure is to get this, I mean, this function, which is get max or get min. The only reason for having all this is get max or get min, because in your total billion data structure, so instead you are trying to insert also, insertion will be done in order of log n times, and then even if you delete something, the adjusting inside that or heapify function will be done in order of log n times. So that's why whenever your requirement is to get either the minimum or maximum element in so huge data, so you will be going to this heap data structure. Okay, heap data structure. Maybe one thing that I wanted to say is like, this is what is this? I think, yeah, heap data structure. In the notes, I've given everything clear, guys. Whatever I explained here in the notes, I've given everything clear. So how do you implement, etc? Maybe I'll be showing you the code as well on an overview so that you can go. So what are the steps to insert into heap, right? What are the steps to insert into heap, and what happens or what to do next and next, etc. And maybe I'll be telling you the code as well. Okay, I'll be teaching you the code. But here what I wanted to say is like heap data structure is something that that gives us the following benefits to us. Okay, following benefits to us. But good thing about Java is like heap is already predefined. In Java, and that predefined thing is in a priority queue. There is a class called priority queue. I'll be showing it to you straight away. So what is that? Right? Yeah, priority queue is a class that is already defined in Java. I mean, it is there in collections. If you do not know it right now, that is fine. You can cover that up in your collections class. But priority queue is a class that is already written in Java, and this gives you the functionality of min and max heap. Let's say you want to create a max heap, min heap, you can straight away do it with this particular syntax. In case you want to create a max heap, right, you need to do that in a reverse direction of a min heap, right? So in that way, like in a priority queue, you need to pass something like this, right? Comparator dot reverse order. Okay, so what these are, I think if you are not done with all these concepts in your Java class, you'll be doing it. But here what I wanted to say is min and max heap are already defined in Java, and they are defined in min or max heap, etc. Okay. Okay, so now straight away I would also go to my heap functionality. Maybe I'll explain you the code so that you can easily get it. So I'm implementing, or whatever I told here, right? Whatever I told here, what are the ways, right? What are the ways we will be implementing, or insertion into heap can happen due to following ways. First, we need to add the item into that array, and then in case if it is not proper, then we have to follow this heapify function, right? Heapify function, and then we'll be comparing it with the parent and swap it, etc. The reason, everything I explained as per the class only, right? First, what we did in part of our insertion, we have taken an element, we inserted it and put it. Finally, we came to know until 19 came, everything was proper, everything was fine. But when 19 came, so there has to be a situation where I need to compare my 19 with my parent and see that this is violating my heap functionality. So what I do is I will compare and then I swap, right? Then I swap, and then I'll compare, then I swap. And this can be done in order of log n time. And again, I told you, whenever we try to delete something, what we do is we'll take the last element and then make it as a root, and then do this heapify function every time, right? this is what we'll be doing, or maybe I'll be showing you. It's a simple code. Whatever we discussed in the class, the same code is over here, guys. My insert operation, what is it doing? I've written a method called isFull. So it says like if it is full, then maybe there will be an exception, right? Even if you don't know what this syntax is, that's fine. But here, if it is full, then you're trying to do something, right? In case not, then you're trying to do something like this. You're trying to insert it, right? Uh, and then fix heap above, right? In the same case where we encountered this 19, right? It is not something which is good. So fix heap above, I have inserted 19. Okay, first I have inserted 19, and then I'm trying to increase key, right? Fixing all the heap which is there above. Here in the fix heap above, what we are trying to do is something like maybe this is a readable and understandable code, guys, right? So we'll be calculating, or we'll be comparing ourselves with the parent, and if not, we'll be swapping. If not, we'll be swapping. If not, we'll be swapping. The same thing we'll be doing in fix heap above method as well. So as I told you guys, all this data or all this implementation is already done in priority queue. Where is that? I think, yeah, in priority queue, whatever the code that we have written over here is, I mean, written in a better way in a priority queue in Java. If you want, you can use it straight away whenever you have like reasons, or whenever you have intention of what you call dealing with this kind of a problem. Okay, dealing with this kind of a problem, right? So with this, guys, this is all about try data structure. This is all about, you know, heap data structure. Heap is like nothing but min heap in a max heap data structure. Okay, so guys, I just wanted to ask. Okay, so this is an interview experience in Herman. Like he's my friend. He went, and in the final round, the manager wanted him to implement a. He said whatever I told you in the first part of our class. Like he has a few predefined words, and he wants him to give this autocomplete or maybe auto suggestions kind of a implementation. So this guy, what he did is like he tried this naive approach, and then he had that into a set, and finally he did all these operations, etc., etc. He was able to do that in order of n square time complexity, and interviewer was not happy about it. And this is the final round case. Like if he gets selected, he'll get selected, and that too, like he'll be getting selected to senior positions. Okay, so this guy was not able to implement that. He doesn't even know what a try is, right? He doesn't even know what a try is. So he implemented that in brute force, and finally ended up, and finally was not selected into the interview. But let's say that guy knows what a try is. We already have a data structure called try, and we can represent that in this way, and we can achieve a better time complexity, etc., etc. Even though you do not implement the whole and whole functionality in front of an interviewer, you will be able to show all your knowledge that you have, and you'll be having more likely chances that you get selected, right? This is the reason, like I included all these things. Heaps, I don't think, but heaps, maybe these are very important. When time comes, these are the ones that will save you, right, in an interview, right? And there are situations where people try to find this tries and heaps very hard, but I try to make sure that this is as simple as possible, and try to include everything, right? With this, guys, what I want to say is like I'd like to end the session for today, and I'll be providing you all the details, and try to finish up the homework as well, and we'll be meeting tomorrow, right? With this part, I'm trying to end the session for today. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye bye.